fourth graders. I'm going to go over 11.02 math, buzz math with you. We're multiplying whole numbers and fractions. The first thing you do when you're multiplying fractions is that you need two sets of fractions. And so when you have a whole number, what we are going to do is we're going to take that 2 and put it over the whole number of 1. Here's why mathematically. Remember, the fraction bar, the fraction line means division. So really, this is 2 divided by 1. 1 will go into 2 times, which is why that is 2. So we're just basically unsimplifying it, and we're going to make it 2 over 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that times our second fraction, which is 1 over 6. When we do this, we just do the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. So the top times the top is 2 times 1, which is 2. We put our fraction line. Then we do 1 times 6 is 6. And then what we finally want to do is we'd like to simplify this. We want to find a number that when we skip, can we skip count by a number other than 1 where we say both 2 and 6? Well, yes, we can count by 2s, 2, 4, 6. We said both of them. And so we can simplify this by dividing the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. And when we do that, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our answer is 1/3. The other way we could have done this is when we had our 2 over 1 times our 1 over 6. We can do what's called cross simplify. Again, that's skip counting. Is there anything we can divide them both by other than 1? Yes, we could have divided them both by 2. So we could have done 2 divided by 2 there and 6 divided by 2 there, which would have given us 1, and which would have given us 3. Then we would have taken 1 times 1 and gotten 1. 1 times 3, and we have an answer of 3. We still get an answer of 1/3. So for the second one, again, we're going to make it 4 over 1. I guess really that's the third one since it says C, but we'll go ahead and do it. 4 over 1 times 3 over 8. The other thing, I can't remember if I've told fourth graders this or not, but another way to write the multiplication sign is just a dot. So sometimes you'll see the dot instead of the times of the X. That's because when we get into algebra a little bit more, we'll be using variables, which most times we use an X. So we start putting the dot there for times so that we don't get confused with a variable and a multiplication sign. So we have 4 over 1 times 3 over 8. My handwriting's not the greatest today. Actually, I'm going to erase that so you all can see it better. Let's just try that again. All right, 4 over 1 times 3 over 8. Again, we're going to do the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 8 is 8. This is a top-heavy fraction. It's improper, so we need to do 12 divided by 8. 8 will go into 12 one time. We get 8. We're left with 4. Our remainder is going to come all the way up top, and that will be how much of the fraction we have. And this 8 will be the bottom number, which is 1 4/8. We can simplify this because we can count by 4s, and we can say both 4 and 8. So we can divide these both by 4. So we have our 1 whole. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So our final answer is 1 1/2. For this one, we're going to have 3 over 1 times 1 over 5. Nothing really to do here. Top times the top, bottom times the bottom. So we're going to do 3 times 1 is 3. Put in your fraction line. 1 times 5 is 5. Right now our answer is 3/5. The only number we can skip count by and say both 3 and 5 is 1. Well, we're not going to divide by 1 because our answer will still be 3/5, so we're finished. It says, awkward Ethan works in a bakery and makes cakes. Yesterday he made 1 cake and used 1/4 cup of milk in order to make the batter. If Ethan needs to make 3 times as many cakes today, how much milk does he need? Well, He used 1/4 yesterday, and he needs 3 times it. So we have to take it times 3. Again, when we have a whole number, we just put it over 1. And that will make it into a fraction. And so now we can multiply fractions. So again, we do the top times the top, the bottom times the bottom. 3 times 1 is 3. Put your fraction line or fraction bar. 4 times 1 is 4. And this is going to be cup of milk. Remember, whenever there's a word problem, usually you have to put a label on it. Last but not least, number 3, Isabella works for a greenhouse and is mixing food for the plants. In order to make 1 gallon of the mixture, she needs 2/5 of a gallon of the food. How much of the food does she need if she wants to make 5 gallons? All right, so 1 gallon, and then we're going to 5 gallons. So we're going to multiply by 5. Well, what are we multiplying? Well, she needs 2/5. So we're going to multiply 2/5 times 5, which is really 5 over 1. Again, I mentioned this earlier. You can go ahead and do this. You can do 2 times 5 is 10. And then 5 times 1 is 5. Again, top times the top, bottom times the bottom. And then we have 10 over 5, which is improper or top heavy. So we divide it. 5 goes into 10 twice. And so our answer is just going to be a whole number of 2. The other way, what I was going to mention just a second ago, is again, you can cross simplify. There's a 5 and a 5. We can divide them both by 5. What's 5 divided by 5? 1. 5 divided by 5? 1. So we're left with 2 times 1 and 1 times 1. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. Again, it's top heavy. What's 2 divided by 1? Still 2, which is the same answer that we got down here. And then it's 2 what? 2 gallons of food. And that's, I think, it for today.